For anybody out there with emotional authority, you gotta watch this video. Also, save this video for later because you're gonna wanna come back to this. And quick little story time to set up the whole scene, why this is so valuable. So I have a daughter, she's an emotional authority. She has the 2212, the individual circuit from the emotional center going to the throat. She's got this one. Our friends who are visiting from all the way on the other side of the country also have a baby who was born around the same time. Also, emotional definition and a lot of other similarities, but their channel is different. My daughter has this one. Their child has this one. So why is this so valuable? Well, because I spent time observing these two beings interacting, these two emotional beings interacting, and these two channels couldn't be more different. So let's just real quick talk about this 12-22. 22 is going to be grace or openness. It's like the moodiness for listening. 12 is going to be social caution. As it's a part of the individual circuitry, it's going to inspire a lot of like melancholy and allowing through the transmutation of emotions and passion into this like refined way of speaking. A lot of artists typically have this channel because it's the like being alone with your emotions that is the muse that causes these creative expressions to then be celebrated by the rest of the world. Now, the collective circuitry is composed of the 36, this is crisis, and 35, which is progress. This is ultimately fueled by one's feelings of inadequacy, and the 35 is the ability to say like, I did this and I learned this or I experienced that. It's part of the collective circuitry. In getting to view the expressions of these very unique channels through children, like beings that have really yet to be affected by like schools and the rest of society, their really only exposure to conditioning has been us as their parents, it was very, very revealing because the two children, although their charts were so similar, acted so differently. My child, which has the 12-22, was much more standoffish. Like she wasn't like in the mood to socialize all that often, and a lot of the time she was kind of just like running off and doing her own thing. Whereas the other child with the 36-35 was really, really hungry for the social interaction and to have all these different experiences. So here's the payoff. There was a part of me that was comparing like, oh, how come my daughter isn't being as like social and connecting with everyone else? Is there something wrong with her? And that's something that I was able to check immediately because we looked at this. Like the other parents are into human design too, and we looked at this. And so rather than comparing our children, we were able to see the contrast between them. Now, this can apply to you in several ways. First, obviously, if you're a parent, like go to my website, buy a report for your kid if you haven't done that already, or book a session with me so I can teach you about this. So that way you don't unconsciously condition your child to be the opposite of who they actually are. But number two is apply this to yourself. If you don't know what your human design is or what your body graph tells you about yourself, again, go to my website, buy a report. It'll cost you 20 bucks and probably like a couple hours of reading, but it'll give you a lifetime of work to return to what's natural for you rather than just trying to be what everyone else thinks you should be or what your mom or your dad or whatever any external authority says you should be. And this is particularly important for emotional beings because this emotional center right here, this solar plexus, there's 3 different types of waves. And if you don't know what your type is, like, do you need a sail? Do you need an oar? Do you need to look up at the stars and navigate better? Like, you got to know what tool to use to navigate your wave. And again, human design will tell you pretty much everything you need to know up to the point where you can actually start experimenting and finding out for yourself. So if you need a report, it's super simple. Just go to reikimarco.com. You're going to see all these fields. Fill that out. Click view your chart, scroll down here, buy one of these reports. If you're easily overwhelmed, buy one of these reports. As a disclaimer, like I don't think that my reports are going to tell you who you are, but I think that over a lot of other things that are available to us now, that these reports and human design and my work with human design is going to give you an opportunity to change the way you see yourself and save you a lot of money and a lot of time. Like you probably don't need to go to therapy. You probably don't need medication. You definitely don't need to go off to some foreign land and have a pilgrimage and shit before you look at this. This costs $20. All that stuff costs a lot fucking more. So save yourself some time and energy. Visit reikimarco.com, generate your report, and I'll see you on the other side.